In the dusty village of Mawanga, where red earth kissed bare feet and time moved slowly between the seasons, there lived a woman named Nasira. Nasira was known for two things: her unshakable spirit and the one eye that stared into the world with unsettling stillness. She hadn't always looked that way. As a young girl, she had been beautiful, dancing under moonlight, laughing freely and chasing goats down the hills. But one fateful day when she was only 9, a fire broke out in their hut. She saved her baby brother by pushing him out the window, but a burning log collapsed on her face. She survived, but not without a price. Half her face was scarred and her right eye was gone. The villagers began to whisper, "That one is cursed. Her eye sees spirits." Children ran from her. Mothers warned their sons. Fathers looked at her with pity, or worse, disgust. But Nasira never cried. She walked tall, fetched water like everyone else, helped her mother in the shamba, and grew up holding her silence like a shield. In her 20s, she met Cato, a traveling mechanic. He was rough around the edges, but he was the first man who looked her in the face without flinching. He told her she was brave. They fell in love, or something like it. But love in Mawanga was not always forever. After she became pregnant, Cato left for the city to find work and never returned. No phone call, no letter, no promise kept. Nasira waited, her belly growing as the moon cycled again and again. She stood each day at the edge of the road hoping to see him, until even hope gave up. Then came Malik, her baby boy, her whole world. She gave birth on a cold morning in the tiny room her father had once built. Alone, no midwife, just her, biting down on a piece of cloth, screaming life into the world. When she saw Malik's face, it was as if the pain of her life melted.
"You will never know rejection, not from me."
Nasira worked like 10 women to raise him. She sold charcoal by the roadside. She planted cassava and sweet potatoes and carried heavy loads on her back. She mended clothes for villagers who never paid on time. She skipped meals so he could eat. When he was 6, she walked 5 kilometers every day to take him to school and pick him up. She patched his torn uniform. She sat outside his classroom just to watch him learn. She clapped the loudest during his recitals. She sang him lullabies and told him, "You will go far, my son, you will shine." But children grow, and the world has a cruel way of teaching them shame. Malik began to notice. At school, the other children mocked him.
"Your mother looks like a witch. Why does she only have one eye? Is that even a woman or a ghost?"
At first, he cried and ran to her arms. But as years passed, the shame began to sink in. He stopped letting her walk him to school. He refused to eat with her in public. He never invited her to Parents' Day. When she came anyway, he would hide.
"Mama, please stop coming. People laugh at me."
Nasira's heart cracked in that moment. But she nodded, and the next day she stood behind a tree just outside the school gate, watching from the shadows, holding his lunch in silence. Malik excelled. He was brilliant, just like she had dreamed. He won a scholarship to a big school in the city. On the day he left, she cooked his favorite meal, dressed in her cleanest lasso, and held out a small envelope with the little money she had saved.
"Go, my son. Even if the world forgets me, remember that I saw greatness in you before anyone else."
He took the envelope, but not her hand. He barely looked at her as he left. Years passed. Nasira grew older, weaker, but she never missed a day of praying for Malik. She heard rumors. He had become a lawyer. He spoke perfect English now. He had a fancy car and friends in high places. But he never came back, never sent anything, never called. To others, he told them his parents died long ago.
One day, a woman from the city returned to Mawanga and found Nasira outside her hut, boiling cassava over firewood. Your son is on TV. He's a big man now. He even gave a speech to the president.
That's my boy.
A year later, Malik returned to Mawanga for the first time in 15 years. Not for her, but to bury a business partner's relative nearby. As he passed by her hut, a small child pointed and said, "Mama, that's the woman with one eye." Malik turned and saw her, thin, frail, bent by years, her hands trembling, her eyes still watching.
My son, you've come home.
But he didn't stop. He walked past her, eyes cold, ashamed. She stood there, hand raised, as the dust of his car swallowed her. That night, Nasira died, alone. No goodbyes, no visitors. Just the silence of a mother's final breath, heard only by the stars. A neighbor called Malik, but he didn't answer. A week later, a letter arrived in his city mailbox, one written in shaky handwriting. It simply said,
My son, even if you never looked back, I never stopped watching you. With one eye, I saw all your greatness. With one heart, I forgave all your silence, Mama.
He collapsed in his office chair and wept like a child. Tears he had denied, love he had buried, a mother he could never return to. In the heart of every mother, there is an eye that never closes, even when shamed, even when ignored, even when forgotten. She sees you, she remembers you, she loves you until her last breath.